Chasing happiness, running through the rain, turning all the little things into something great. With every heartbeat, we're finding our way. This is the moment, today's the day. Hi, welcome to another episode of Chasing Happiness. Today we are talking to Brian about the difference between dating 10 years ago and dating now.
Yeah, I think dating has definitely changed a lot from when you're 18, go out for a few drinks to online dating now. I suppose online dating now, you have so many different apps. I haven't tried them all. There's way too many. Like Tinder, Facebook dating seems to be a new one now, which is more laid back, I think.
Have you? So they're the ones you tried is Tinder and
Yeah, I went on Plenty of Fish once, and I think I installed.
Is that still around?
I thought Plenty of Fish was for like 60 plus, like
I'm close.
Weirdos.
To 60 now, but not quite.
I always thought that was like old
I
people.
feel like Facebook dating is actually more like that now.
Okay.
Like more people that are more mature kids, and the likes of me that have seen it all.
Do you have a preference on any of the ones that you have used? Is there one where you're like, because like all I've ever heard about Tinder is wham bam, thank you ma'am.
Yeah, I think just the more recent one, just because Facebook dating seems a bit more genuine than like Tinder could be. A lot of people, it's a picture of just a dog.
Yeah.
And nothing else is like, I know you from a picture of a dog.
Yeah.
I feel like Tinder is just a weird experience anyways, because like that you can have the nicest of nice people and then real weirdos. Like there is because
I've literally only heard I'm the only one who hasn't done online dating out of the three of us. I've heard literally one extreme to the other, because obviously we have friends that have met on Tinder.
I met them on Tinder.
Yeah. I have other friends who have met people and gotten married. So it's either been it's a relationship and you're married, or it was a one night stand and it was not fantastic. So I'm like, what is it? Tell me more. Tell me everything. I can never do it.
I suppose the difference between that thing is when you meet someone, you know what they're like from the off.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I never really go by. I know you have to have a certain attraction to someone.
Yeah.
Whereas if you meet someone and they're nice and they're funny, you get into them. That's when they turn beautiful.
Yeah.
As opposed to just attraction.
Yeah.
Whereas now, if you meet someone and I've done it myself, there might be an older picture where I thought looked better.
Yeah.
And there's pictures, different angles and whatever. So it isn't the end of the world. But when you talk, and I suppose even I'm probably used in a different way when you reply to someone, you're not with face to face, you can be a lot more genuine.
Yeah.
Whereas you can think about your plan on Tinder or Facebook.
I feel like you can put up a front of any kind when you're online. Like you said, you can use photos, you can edit, you can do anything.
You have more time to even think about what you're saying, so you could be like funnier or less funny.
Trying to think of the funny things to say back. Whereas like what you were saying, when you just meet them and you just start chatting, you kind of know from the get-go whether they're like a kind of person you want around or not.
I feel like I would struggle with it massively because I don't like the idea of it, if I'm being honest, in the sense of judging a person based off a photo. For me,
that's exactly what it is.
It's just vile. It's vile. And then I'm like, I am the biggest catfish ever, if you like, in the sense of my everyday is I don't wear makeup. My hair is usually tied up in a high ponytail, a bun, and I'm going to be wearing leggings and an oversized hoodie of some sort. That's my everyday. But then the photos I'd put out, full face of makeup, beautiful hair that I've gotten done in the hairdressers, actually put effort into an appearance.
See, I think everyone does that though. I think that's the
I don't even look like me, and that's what I'd be afraid of. I'd be like, is that you though? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you just second guessing, be like, there's no way you look like that.
And that's the fear of it as well, that there is a fair chance, just because of an initial look, you swiped away from someone that more than likely could have been your person, or someone that is close to you, or someone that could. So I think that's one thing I did learn in a way by not playing Tinder roulette on the phone. And
I don't do that. No, okay. I never got to go on it. If I can get your phones and have fun for 5 minutes, leave me off.
And I think you even seen that from Tinder itself is just swipe. Because you could talk to someone, meet up with them for a first date, and it's a totally different person.
When it comes to me judging the people for you, though, what I have found, and I do this, okay? fine. What I found though is when I'm looking, it's so extreme again in that there's the people that I'm like, right, is I like you? Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, the I like you one is the ones when I'm judging yours of they look like normal people. They look like people that I could go on, an actual night out on or sit on the couch on. Sit on the couch and wait.
Maybe
You knew what I meant.
Maybe wait for a second after that, maybe.
I just got very into it, okay? And then there's the other ones, and I'm like, do you own clothes? And like that for me is the most off-putting thing.
Yeah.
And like I know I'm judging them for you.
Yeah.
But as your friend, I don't want to be around because realistically they're going to be part of my world too, so I'm allowed to judge. I don't want to be around a person that I'm like comes across, and I'm not saying that that's how they are or how they think or what they're feeling. For me, it comes across like they don't even have respect for themselves.
No.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, well, if you can't respect you, you're not going to respect him.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to respect the fact that his best friend is a female. His main circle is females. No.
Yeah.
Get off my screen,
And I think that's even the 10 years ago when you met someone when they're out. You dress to impress in the road, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not, when you go, you're not dressing for Instagram.
I mean, like, when I'm on about these photos, I mean, like, there's been ones in lingerie, and I'm like, dude, your back is not arched that way naturally.
No.
But I don't get why people do that on a dating profile anyway. So I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why? Why would you? You're not selling yourself in a sense, but you're trying to
show the best version of you.
Like, why? Like, if a person's going to like you, they're going to like you for everything and not just because you look like that.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like that.
Yeah. Because to me, and look, it might be a bad way of looking at it, but to me, I'm like, okay, you're the person that's on the app for the one night stand. Mm-hmm. You're not here for the relationship. Yeah. Because for me, if, like, granted, I had to do it through in-person dating, but like, you'd always be you have to work for it. Like, I wasn't going, it's our first night together, let's go home.
Yeah.
Like, no. Buy me food. Show me who you are, work for it, and we'll have a conversation on another day, The
one thing about the buying food with dating, I'm traditional. I'm definitely traditional. I feel like I should buy the meal first time. Offer. That's a controversial one. Yes, for me. As a female, I love when I was dating when the guy paid for it. And I'm not going to hide that fact because I'm like, he wants to look after me, he wants to take care of me. But I always offered. Yeah. I think the females that go in are like, you're paying, aren't you? Yeah. Who are you? Yeah. Shut up, offer. It's not difficult. You know what I mean? Or the people, or the women as well that will order the most expensive thing on the menu just because they're not paying. Like, have some respect for the person that is sitting opposite you. Like, when I'm like, buy me food, literally, my first KFC, I think what was the one that I went to across from the Leisureplex with Owen? Remember, we all went as a group. We went bowling first. And we got food. Was it Hillbillies? Yeah, something like that. That was the first place we went for food. And at that, I got chicken tenders and gravy because I don't like chips and Hillbillies. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, you spend $6. Congratulations, we're married. Like, it's not difficult. I think that you just have to show respect. So I do like the guys being traditional about things. Yeah. Do you find so that you would prefer if it went back to how it was and you can just, like, we have a friend, do you want to go on a date? Yeah. And you can do it traditional, or do you like the texting and being like, hey, who are you? I'm a texter. I like texting, but not for that reason. Yeah. I think because even if you have someone, even if it's a blind date, and it's either one of you set me up with someone, you know what they're like. Mm-hmm. You have a fair idea what they're like.
Like a background check in a sense.
Exactly. And go for a drink, whereas now you have to go through what do you like, what don't you like.
The awkward chit chat, I think, was the worst for me. Like with Tinder, like when you start talking to someone, it's like, hey, how are you? And a lot of people don't like that, apparently. They don't like the boring, so they come with like this big line.
To be fair, if you message me being like, hey, how are you? I'd be like, no.
Really?
Yeah, no.
That's
like,
so funny,
text me and be like, I wish I had been a duck. Yeah. Then I'm like, you're funny. I'll respond.
Who set up your Tinder?
I wonder how that came up.
No, because I'm like, I want to see your humor.
Okay.
And like, hi, how are you? Is like asking me, about the weather.
See, I'm different then. I don't mind that. I had some guys come out with the weirdest stuff, and it would be an instant ick then, because I had one guy and I still can't understand why he actually typed that out. Now, I didn't go on Tinder for that long. Like, I had a little bit of an experience on it, but he literally messaged me and was like, oh, if you take out the C and the L. His first message was like, if you take out the C and the L in your name, that's what you are.
Oh, great. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, HOE. Okay. Why did you message that? I was like, I had 3 pictures up. They weren't even crazy pictures. And then he tried to continue a conversation. I was like, where do you think we're going with that? Yeah, maybe.
Do you think that there's a similarity in dating women versus men in how disrespectful they can be, or have you found in your experience?
Well, no, I think men are a lot more disrespectful. Just from what I heard.
You're rude.
I think dating has become quite accessible.
Yeah.
That you can just move on to the next person instantly. So it's quite if a man wanted someone right now, they'll just go. I know women can do it too, but I think it's just.
And I get that was out. So when I would have first started dating, that was out. There was the people that were just there for one night stands.
Yes.
But I don't feel from hearing everybody talking about online dating, I don't feel like it was as big a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I just didn't see it.
Yeah.
But the ones that were out, you kind of again, and this is where I think I would have been bad at online dating. You knew on a night out, you knew who they were. Yeah. It's he's chancing his arm. See ya. Whereas online dating, some of them can come across, from what I've seen from messages and stuff, really genuine, and then a weekend
they land on with this completely out there message.
Do you want to just stay at my house and I'm putting that very mildly, because of some of the messages I've seen that you've received. I'm no.
Yeah.
She doesn't want that.
I don't want any of that, actually. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I'm just I don't understand. I think I struggle with it because I don't know how you're supposed to read a person.
I think it's quite hard just in general to try and meet someone, because I think that you can put forward that you're this great person, you're super genuine, that because it's all online, and you might meet for a first date and you can still portray that. But how do you know if it's actually what that person is like? Because they can be from anywhere and everywhere, and you might know no one attached to that person. And you just kind of have to take them at their word. But I've seen people that put on these fronts that there's great people. A few months in, that person actually had a girlfriend, or they were cheating, or they were doing all these different things. But looking back at the messages and knowing the person and what you experienced was completely different to what they actually are.
So I think it's a lot harder to lie yesterday.
Yeah.
That's one more ball, especially if after a few drinks. Obviously not 20 drinks in, but after 3 or 4. I think you get a bit more genuine and relaxed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the real person is there for meeting face to face.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel when you were meeting up a day, for example, now on the first date, that you had to be a bit more, not stressed, but more cautious, because it is a person you're meeting online that you don't know anything about? If you're meeting them on a night out, typically, you're going to be with friends.
Yeah.
There's somebody there, whereas when you're meeting online, it's this guy you don't actually know who could be a mass murderer.
We actually had that point in our first date, because he actually asked me, did someone know where I was? And it's kind of funny, because you have to nowadays. You just don't know who you're getting in a car with or who you're meeting up with. So he actually asked me that night, didn't someone know where I was? And I was like, why, are you going to murder me? And he's like, no, it was a joke. But you don't know. So there is that level of, could this be a complete creep?
Yeah.
And then, am I putting myself in danger, by meeting this person? And all you have is a week or 2 of messages.
Yeah.
If you go any longer than that and not meet the person, I don't know how it's actually going to turn into something. I feel with online dating, you kind of have to take the jump and the leap to meet someone fairly early on.
Yes.
Because there's no point in talking. But then you are putting yourself out there to possibly being
well, I know for a female, I knew you were going, I knew where you were going, and you text me again straight after. You don't have to do that, though.
No.
And I think, and it's one thing, I think there is certain men that would get actually insulted going, not me, if someone says to me, "Oh, can we meet my friends?" or "Can we meet here because it's public?" No bother.
Yeah.
Completely understandable because I meant like naturally I'm probably stronger. I could think different thoughts.
Yeah, there is very few guys out there that are like you though that understand where we're coming from. And I think for you, like you have a sister, you have mainly female friends. Mm-hmm. We're all trying to set him up, by the way. Whereas I do think that there is masculine toxic
masculinity.
That one. There is a lot of that where there's men who are predominantly around men and then they feed off of each other. And they can't understand why we're scared of things. And we're like, because you're a problem. You know, we're not saying all men, but the men that are a problem and the men that cover up the problem are a problem. You know, so I think when a man can actually stand back like he would or like Dave has and go, does somebody know where you are? I want you to know like you're completely safe. Have you told somebody, do they understand I'm not going to do anything? Cool. You know, but I can't imagine then either being the person like you were dating and being like, oh, but what if he is?
It's crazy, but it's crazy that we have to live in that kind of moment of unsureness of like, could this person be dangerous? You know, it's hard to accept that that's the way dating has gone, that we have to have that conversation just so
even
you know.
for a female point of view, like dangerous in the fact of they could harm you from a male, but from a female point of view, we're psychotic sometimes. Like there is psycho females out there that are going to destroy your life. They're going to come up with a rumor, because we're not going to put it all on men. They're going to come up with a rumor and they're going to say you did something that you did. So you also have to protect yourself as well from a potentially dangerous female making up rumors about you saying you did something you never did.
Your life is over.
You know what I mean? So do you ever have like a thought like that of, I actually want to make sure that this is a public place because I want to make sure you don't accuse me of something that never happened?
I probably don't as much. I think the thing that does, I go back to the beginning, that comes into my head for a public place is, I suppose I say it's probably partially that way that if they do turn it around and say something that happened that didn't, I do have a little thing in my head of, it's a public place.
Like there's cameras.
Whatever.
You're covered,
It's still more the fact of that
you want her to feel safe.
But let's say it goes back to 10 years ago when you meet out. You definitely have more of an idea when you're out.
I was going to ask, and then I answered it and I giggled, sorry. I was going to ask, do you think that you've gotten more opinionated or judgmental on because of online dating than you would have been on a night out, but then your taste in people typically isn't that great anyway, so it can't get worse.
You're definitely more judgy. Because like I said, when you don't know them, that's the initial thing you have to go after. Is how you feel about how you're attracted to them.
Do you not think that that's horrible? Is it just me? I think that's horrendous because
it is, but you also have to accept that that's the way the world has.
No, 100%. But I'm like, some of the people that I know, like gym people now, you know, guys really, really buff, like really, really good looking in their own heads, are just that. They're that good looking. They are absolute muppets that I'm just like, why are you wasting oxygen that I could have? Because you're not a nice human. And then there's the guys that would be typically seen as not the best good looking. I'm like, I want to hang out with you. I want to go for dinner. Like, you're fun.
I just think it's just like society's just become quite judgmental. Like there's stereotypical, like beautiful people. But I think online dating, I feel like you can shift through that. Like if you yourself, I would not classify myself as the stereotypical like beauty like standards.
I'm gorgeous.
So I feel like if you're coming across men like that, like they would not be what I would be going for at all. So they'd just be I think I would literally never get a date because I am an overly sarcastic person anyway.
Like even with things like that, I'm always like, I'm the prettiest girl in the room. I don't actually think that, but that's just my humor. So I think if I was to have humor like that through message, if you don't get to see me, you think I'm being serious.
You're judging straight away.
And you're like, oh, she's cocky, and I'm like, haha. Do you have to actually write haha? And I feel like that would be my thing as well with having to message another person is like you've quite a twisted sense of humor as well.
Yeah.
So that doesn't translate always onto the phone. So the person then could be like, oh, he's such a douchebag.
Yeah.
And you're not, you're just being funny. It's just, there's no energy with it. There's no vibe. There's no humor.
You can't put, if you're being sarcastic, you can put a tone on it. You can't, like you said, LOL at the end of it.
Yeah, you know, and I'm like, there's only so many times I can be like, haha, LOL.
Yeah.
But that's why I feel like with online dating, you have to meet the person quite quickly to know. Like, you could be chatting and like it could be a great conversation. Then you could meet in person and you could literally be having a conversation with a stone. Like, it's just completely different. But then that's hard too, because you have to accept that you've just not wasted, but you've just spent that amount of time talking to a person that you thought was great and there could be potential. Then you meet him and you're like, oh.
You've both done speed dating as well.
Yeah.
What do we think of speed dating?
Interesting.
Yeah, it was an experience.
Yeah.
They both had to speed date each other, which was hilarious for me. Just be like, hey bud, move along.
It was like, I wouldn't do it again.
Yeah. You've done it once or twice?
I did it once.
And you've done it once?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It is a good way, like, you're not going to know a person within...
Was it a minute and a half or something?
Mine was 4 minutes. 4 minutes, 4 minutes per day.
See, my issue with this, I'm so glad I had to do these things, because my issue is I'll pick up quite quickly if you're my person or not, in the sense of if I want to waste my energy. If it was 4 minutes and I don't like you, I'm going to know within 30 seconds. Do I have to sit there for another 3.5?
Yeah. You see, what I did was I just kept talking. Like, I just filled the space with the most awkward of conversation, being like, oh, have you done this before? And then I just keep chatting. But like, there was some dates that within 10 seconds I'm like, I want out of here now. On a night out up in a bar, if a guy came up and said to me, I'd be like, no. And like, you've been out with me and seeing me doing that, where I'm literally like, you know, and I'm gone. And then there's other like guys that say something, I'm like, okay, I'll entertain you for a second. Whereas if I had to sit there with speed dating, like even on your phone, at least then if it's like bad banter, you can be like, no. You see, then the other side of it is only a short few minutes and then that person is gone. You don't ever have to speak to them again. Yeah. And you're moved on to the next person. It's interesting because you come across a wide variety of men I came across. Like, and there was some that'd be like, yeah, you're not, and I'd be just there going, I don't know how you thought out of that conversation there was anything more than just me being nice, you know? Yeah.
Give me your typical, like what would be your ideal, since out of the three of us, you're currently the only single one. Any takers? What would be your ideal date now? Like, do you want to meet via Tinder or one of those appies? Do you want to do a speed dating thing? Do you want to do it completely authentically on a night out? Would you like a blind date? And then what is the setup like?
I think on a night out. Because I think any relationship or dating that I've been on, I don't think any of them really came from online dating.
I don't think so either. I'm trying to go through your dating history.
They were always...
Yeah, but you want a night out also, like there is a potential you get down on one knee and then we'll all regret that for life.
Been there, done that. No thanks.
Let's not repeat. Bad choices after alcohol.
No, definitely. I think a night out, like I wouldn't class that as a first date.
Yeah. But just to meet them authentically.
The initial contact, I think, a night out with a group, because even if it's not going well,
you kind of have your friends there to be like...
Yeah, you can just kind of be, oh yeah, we're going to the bar, or you're doing this or that, or... So I still might happen yet, I don't know, from an online perspective. I think that's why a lot more relationships fail as well, because people jump into it going, I need to be in a relationship, and then after 3 months go, this is not what I thought.
Yeah.
But when you get to the point you're tied.
I also don't understand the people though that go on online dating and put in like, you know, the way you can put like want a long-term relationship or however, whatever the way they word it, and then after a few months or weeks, turn around and be like, actually, I don't know if I'm ready for this. I'm like, well, why waste the time then? You know what I mean? Not one I stand. That's why I'm staring directly at you. I don't get it. Like, if you're not ready for it, just say that. That's cool. Like I think to waste another person's time when the other person is in your situation, wanting to settle down and find the long-term partner, that bugs me too. You know?
Because I do probably jump in a lot quicker than more men probably do.
Yeah.
But still, that situation is just, it's uncomfortable.
Do you feel like that's you as a human, or do you feel like that's your age and where you're at in life?
A mix of both. I think, like, I'm 35, so kind of going.
You're only 36.
Yeah, you have a mix of both. No, I suppose I'm looking off in a way that because I'm male and along the line, if I do want kids, it's not as much of a problem for me.
Yeah, realistically, you could be 80, like.
I could be 80. Whereas if I'm meeting someone...
You have to. Yeah.
So,
just saying.
Dream on the dream. You can't... I also have to think about... I'm obviously not going to be going out with an 18-year-old or a 19 or 20-year-old.
I would hope so.
That's just weird.
Yeah,
exactly.
That is just weird, yeah.
So I just also have to have that in mind that if they're similar age to me, that...
That's a lot of pressure, though.
I'm stuck cooking soon.
Yeah. But also as well, just going from the people that you have met, a lot of them are already after having kids and stuff as well.
Yeah.
You know, so for your age group, it is a case of, you know, you're trying to meet a person where you time-wise can biologically have your own, because you want kids, or you're having to step into a stepfather role, or you're having to look at a person that potentially doesn't want kids at all, or isn't even ready to settle down. So like your choices 10 years ago are totally different to what your choices are now.
There's a point of, it comes to a point of settling as opposed to what you want. Yeah. And when you get to a certain point, what you expect to what you want kind of have to level off. Yeah. When you're 18, 19, you kind of, I'll get away with this. Yeah. When you're 35,
you won't get away with it. Yeah. Did you find when you were going into online dating that you had to, or dating in general, that you had to as well, because of being a mum, go, I might not necessarily get my ideal on paper person, I have to potentially settle because now they have to accept the fact that I'm coming with children as well?
I wouldn't say that I would have to settle, but I feel like dating with kids is a whole other level that people instantly judge you, you know? I think that, so finding someone that's open to even talking to you if you have kids is harder. So I don't think you have to settle. I think you just have to find the people that are cool with your situation, you know? Yeah. And like you have to also be open. I think when I'm coming in with my kids and my situation, I think you have to also be open to meeting people that have the same. Yeah. So I just think it's a little bit more difficult. I wouldn't say I have to settle. I think that you just have to find the people that aren't so narrow-minded. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that though that's also, like, for me, why I'm glad that I was able to settle down early and find it. Yeah. Because for me, I'm like, I'm a jealous person and I'm okay with admitting it. I don't know if I could do it, not from, and I've had this conversation with you, not from the other person having kids, but from the ex still being part of the world. I don't think I could do that. I'm like, see ya. You know what I mean? I don't want you around. It's too difficult because you have a level of a bond like that I can't ever necessarily have. You know what I mean? Like, I know I could go on to have my own children with this person, but you're the other children's mother. Like, I don't want to take that place. I don't want to do it. So I think for me, I'd struggle personally. Not anything to do with the person with the kids, but like if they were going out and they were doing family things, I'm like, oh,
I think you have to
come back to me.
You have to realize that when you're dating with kids, that the person you're going to possibly be with is also going to be in the same situation, and they're going to have a past. Like, they're going to have a partner. They're going to have the other parent, like the mom of their kids or whatever. They're always going to be around. And you have to be okay with that. And like you said, they have had a life. You have to be okay with that still being there.
Yeah, see, like, all of Owen's exes aren't from the country, and I'm like, fantastic. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I mean by I personally would struggle. And it's not because, like, I've cheered you on and you've seen that, and I'm so happy that you found somebody. But for me, I would literally be like, oh.
See, I feel like it's different when you're in the situation.
Maybe.
Because I also have to expect the person I'm with to deal with my
your situation.
So I feel like when you're meeting someone that's in a similar situation, you just get it. Like, it's just easier to understand that this person is going to be there regardless, and you just have to accept
Yeah,
that.
I'm like, when you break up, leave.
Go. Yeah.
I think what I'd love to try, and I'm surprised I haven't gone up and done it, I'd love to go to Lisbon just to experience.
I've heard that is just crazy.
I'm married. Can I still go?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, like I'm not there. Yeah, I'm not there for any purpose other than to be like, this is what it's all about.
Just to experience.
Or there's proper matchmatchers out there nowadays. Have you heard of them? Like, there's proper people that will like.
Yeah, you send in, isn't it, like all your info and then match you to a person that's like. But see, my thing is right. Okay, bear with me on this because I do have a theory with this. Right, it's wrong. And why I say that is if you were to match me with another me. That is the worst thing you could do. Like one of me on the planet is far too many of me already, you know? Let's not add to this problem. I need like Owen and me, as similar as we are in aspects, are complete yin and yang.
Yeah.
We are complete opposites. Like he is always very, very chill and level-headed, whereas I'm like the most impulsive person ever. You tell me jump in the river, I'm probably inside in it already. You know? Like that's my brain. I as much as I overthink a lot of things, I can be stupidly impulsive as well on certain things. So I need him to rein me back in and be like, have you thought? Like I'd literally be like, let's go to Disneyland for a minute. And I go away and book it. And he's like, but did you think about the price? Did you think about this? Did you think about that?
Get married, yeah.
So I feel like I could want to go to Disneyland, book it, go. I wouldn't think of the consequences. Whereas he's like, but did you budget? Did you think?
Yeah.
And I think sometimes you need your opposite. So if you're matching me to somebody identical to me,
it's not going to work.
It's not going to work. No. And I feel like for you, you're not a very decisive person
at all. No.
So if you're with a person that's also not, you're never going to do anything.
No, it's just going to be a never-ending cycle.
What do you want to do? I don't know what you want to do. I want to do whatever you want to do. But you want to do whatever I want to do. I want to do whatever. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know how matching a person is going to work.
Yeah.
You know, I get in like if you're both driven, but then are you actually going to be at home and spending time with each other if you're both? Do you see why I don't think they're going to work?
Same qualities,
Yeah, I don't know if they would work. What are you looking for though? Come on, we have to set you up with somebody. Let's go.
Once. Like I said, you have to have the attraction.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't not necessarily a good look. It can be good looking, whatever. A similar sense of humor, which would be tough because I have a weird sense of humor.
You do.
Very weird sense of humor.
Yes.
But someone you can have a laugh with, and someone, if you're going with opposites, someone that's probably good with money.
He ain't. I gave him a budget like 5 years ago and he still hasn't even looked at it. But anyway.
And someone that just understands, and you're not going to like the same things, but at least like there's going to be something that they might like, that at least I'll try.
Yeah.
Like
just someone open.
Yeah. They might like Liverpool, but watch them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like I hate boxing, but Owen loves it, so I'll sit down and watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
I hide behind my hands for 90% of it, but you know.
Do it,
Yeah, I think in general people need to be open to everything, because like even with your humor, your sense of humor is weird, but like we all get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some of the stuff you say, I'm like, that is not funny. I'm laughing at you. You know what I mean? But none of us are like,
it's not, as in, there's obviously a weird part of it, but it's not something where someone's going to walk away from you. Disgusting, weird.
Yeah.
You know, and like there is people out there like that, and there's probably someone for them as well.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, here, didn't him, what's his name? Charles Manson, didn't he have a person?
Did he?
I'm pretty sure. Most murderers do.
Brian is not a murderer, though. I know how you follow that up, but most murderers do.
What I meant is like, literally the worst of people have been able to find somebody. Yeah, the worst of people have been able to find somebody, so there's definitely somebody out there for everybody. But
podcast disclaimer, I'm not a murderer.
Have you any questions to add into it?
You never remember on the newspaper the dating?
No, I've heard of it, but my mother.
I'm the same freaking age as you. You're only a year older, and I'm like, what? Yeah. Oh, isn't that the like
GSOH? Good sense of humor.
Yeah, no. What are they called? what do they
Lonely
call?
Hearts.
Yeah, the Lonely Hearts pages.
No, I was young enough that I wasn't trying it because I probably didn't even have it.
It's a lot of farmers that would do it. I'm allowed to say that I married a farmer. No, it is a lot of farmers that would put it in though, because they're so rural and their hours are so psychotic that it's very hard for them to actually go out and meet a person.
Someone, yeah.
So they would.
That's the original Tinder.
Yeah.
Without pictures, so it's the blind dating side of it.
Yeah. Mockra became a very dating central thing then too.
I've done a debate on it one time.
Oh, really?
I got best speaker for it.
Oh, well done,
and we lost, so I never had to do it again. So
because like I feel like a lot of like Emma would have met Clive and Mockra. Me and Owen, like I feel like a lot of the Mockra people we're friends with met their person from Mockra. So maybe you just need to go back to Mockra.
Like the speed dating Mockra.
If anybody out there is single and wants his number, PM us. But yeah, thank you for joining us on this episode and giving us your experiences with online dating, real life dating, all the dating. And join us in the next episode. Bye.